Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. We might have still a couple of seconds left before we start, but I'm very excited to be able to do this three-part series about the one word flip that switch weight loss movement. Welcome again. This is something that I normally don't do. I normally don't talk about a subject like that, but it is a subject that has made a big change in my life many years ago, and I wanted to share that with you because the approach of health, wellness, fitness is sometimes such a direct approach and such a quick fix. Hi Marlene, that I really wanted to show you that it is truly to consider starting it from another way, another side of looking at it. So you see this little graph right back here, and we're going to come back to that just in a little bit. Before, I'm just going to talk a little bit what this subject is about and how this is actually relevant to your health and well-being, and how this applies to you, me, and to everybody basically. So hi Lisa. So the way I came across the one word approach is many years ago when I read a book. It was called That One Word. Hi Lana. That one word. Hey Lana. That one word that will change your life. It was a book by John Gordon that I read many years ago, and it has really made a huge difference in, hello Marisa, in many aspects of my spirituality, my health, and my emotion, and my physical health. So it has made a huge difference. And I was thinking, why was one word so effective? And that book is a very small book. It's available on Kindle. I just downloaded it years ago, and I read it. It only takes about 45 minutes to read, but it's really powerful. So I'm reading off some notes here this time because I'm quoting lots from that book, and there are so many gems in there. I don't want to miss them, and I don't want to put my own interpretation into this information for you. Okay, so I'm gonna dive right in. Basically what it comes down to, and when we set goals and we do those yearly New Year's resolution, lots of times today that success is measured by what we accomplish, and so many times we set out to do a goal instead of becoming that goal that we're looking for. So really making resolutions just convinces us that all we have to do is it's all physical. So we roll up our sleeves and we just get at it, and we basically go crazy. All we think about is how can we achieve that goal. So this practice really puts us in the power of a life change in our head and in our hands. Basically, it doesn't involve one very important aspect, and it just kind of turns us loose. But when we look at it, the approach ignores one of the most important aspects, and that is that change that we want to have within the heart. And all of us, so many of us, have done our fair share of goal setting, resolution making, starting every single year, having that same approach over and over again. And you know the routine. We try, we fail, we go back, we go ahead, and we fall back. And it's just an ongoing over same type of frustrating outcome that we are experiencing. So our hope, or my hope, was to always get better at setting a goal, is always that ultimate achievement of getting that goal. But in the process, we always fall short. So why is that? Why is that happening? So really, when it comes down to one of the most important parts of a change is the change of the heart. Again, like I said before. And we all felt that sting of failure when we don't accomplish a goal and we don't feel like we're getting where we wanted to get, and the frustration builds up, the guilt is there, and lots of times, and then we give up. Because we don't even feel like that we're capable of achieving something that we want to achieve, or maybe sometimes we need to achieve it because our health doesn't allow us to go on the way we are going on. So whether we want to affect change in our lives, in our health, or in our families and relationships, we all agree that we wanted things to be different. This is what the ultimate thing is. We wanted things to be different. So it almost becomes like an insane way of circling around the same results and failures all the time. And I really like this saying, and I'm quoting this again from this book. We all heard the saying, if you do what you're always done, you'll get what you always got. So time and time again, our intentions, they just crash and they burn. So I found a good way of looking at it. So if you personally feel like it's time for a change, then you need to ditch the road of resolution goals. And instead of trying to develop more willpower, which is like, it's easier said than done. Someone can just say, you got to have more willpower, right? So instead of developing more willpower, there's really a simple way to live more powerfully. And so instead of creating those goals and those resolutions, you can find a single word for you that will be your driving force for the year. No goals, no resolutions, okay? No goals, no resolutions, just one word that you will simply develop for the year, and it will become your word, your vision for everything. And it really does change so many aspects of your life, so many different areas that you are experience where you are looking for a change. So it comes down to simplicity. We need to keep things simple, and it's not based on temporary inspiration or the latest pep talk, hopefully not the one that I'm giving you now, but it's narrowing our focus, because we believe and we know that less is best. We all know that, and sometimes we get away from this kind of simpleness just because we don't believe that it's actually possible to achieve what we need to achieve in a simple way. We tend to make things complicated. Because simplicity creates clarity, it creates power, and it creates passion. So we want to remember this. So some of you probably might think, one word, how is one word going to change? Why not a phrase? And why not a sentence? Why not something that is longer, bigger, better? And I get that, because something inside always wants to make things way more complicated than they really are. And the truth is, people really don't remember phrases and sentences. We don't remember pep talks. We don't remember long speeches. We remember words, and words, they stick. They're memorable. We've never really forgotten a word that we come up with that means a lot to us, right? So this one word approach is not really for the highly motivated ones. It really is for everyone that is tired of the same old things, and that is even for the ones of us that are frustrated for past failure results. So I'm not going to talk much about this one word approach anymore, because truthfully, it is a fact that it only takes one word. So I'm just going to now talk about what the action is, how you personally can come up with your one word for the year 2019. Okay, so in the following 3-part series, in the next 3 Wednesdays, I'm going to walk you through these steps to help you find your word, or for the word to actually find you. And I'm convinced that there is a word out there for you. I know there is a word out there for you. So it starts with those 3 components that we're going to look in, we're going to look up, and we're going to look out. And today we're starting with looking in. How can we look in to find that word? And that first part of looking in is, I'm going to write that down, is prepare your heart. Okay, so we're going to prepare your heart. Okay, so prepare your heart. When we talk about preparing your heart, we mean getting your heart ready to by looking in. Why is that important? Why do we need to prepare our heart? Failing to prepare equals preparing to fail. And I'm going to quote just a little example from the book, something that Abraham Lincoln said, that if I just think about that little story. If I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, and us here in the north, we know what this is about when we have wood stoves and we need to chop trees. I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Nothing is more frustrating than chopping wood with a blunt blade. And nothing is more frustrating than going through life without focus. Taking the time to sharpen the axe makes the task successful. Most of us fail in the preparation, not in the task itself. So, part of preparing our heart is that preparation to find our word. For the first step, we need to, and that means we need to unplug. The first step to find our word in preparing our heart is unplugging. So there's no question that this can be hard for some of us. Unplugging can be really difficult. We all have such busy lives. And busyness really has become almost like the silent killer. It's a disease that's like robbing us from our daily life. And it has also been said that busyness makes us stop caring about the things we care about. And I find that so true. We forget really what is important in our lives. So some of us might be addicted to busyness. When the alarm goes off, we hit the ground, we run, we go, we're constantly on the go. So if you're like me, you might even feel guilty a little bit if you don't fill up that time that we have during the day, to fill it up with something, because we just feel guilty not be doing something, right? So when it comes to preparing your heart, we're going to follow 2 simple steps. I'm going to write those down too. They really are simple steps. So one is, we talked about that right now, it was unplug. Okay, unplug. And the second one is, part of preparing heart is ask. Ask. Okay, so what does that mean? So unplugging doesn't come naturally. It's something that we have to really plan, right? So we rather watch TV, or we rather have some noises because we feel like we have company. We feel like we're not alone, and then we don't have to think about ourselves. We think about what's being said or what we hear, rather than thinking about what we need to hear or what we need to say to ourselves. I'm back. There was a little connection disruption, but I'm back. Okay, so what does unplugging mean? Basically, it means no TV, no music. It means no phone, no other people, no to-do lists when you are in that, when you're starting to take action and unplugging. I found getting up early when it's still dark before the family gets going is very helpful. Some find it later at night very helpful. Or also finding an isolated place, nature lots of time helps with that as well. Whatever you decide to go, just create that kind of environment to look inward and to discover what you need to quiet your mind. So commit to that unplugging process to find your word. Okay, so while you're unplugging, we're taking that next step, which is asking. I'm going to ask 3 key questions to prepare your heart. Okay, and those questions I'm going to write down as well. The question number 1 is, what do I need? What do I need? Question number 2 is, what is in my way? What is in my way? And question number 3 is, what needs to go? What needs to go? So these 3 questions you're going to ask yourself while you are unplugged to prepare your heart to find that word. They're very powerful, those 3 questions, because they help you find a word that has really true meaning in your life. Too often we focus a lot of getting our word, and then we miss why we have that word, or what is the why behind that word. So when you know the why behind your word, then it becomes more meaningful for you. And that's what this whole process about looking in to prepare your heart is going to be. The why is always more important than the what, and we wanna remember that. So, for example, what are your past circumstances that you need to learn from? What is your current reality? Where do you want to go from here? And this is all related to your health, to your fitness, perhaps to your weight loss, to your relationship with food, to your relationship with the strength that you're trying to develop. So just kind of think about why it is that you are not where you want to be, and this process can really help you. So I created an action sheet for this first part, where you're looking in to prepare your heart, to unplug, to ask with those 3 questions. I created an action sheet, and it's in our group in the Fire Up Academy for Women private Facebook group. If you're not part of that group, please feel free to just let me know, message me, and I can add you to that group. And in that group, there is an educational section. It's called Units, and I have put that document into the units so that you can fill it out for yourself. You can download it, fill it out for yourself, and do that first part. You have 1 week to get that first part done. And next week, on Wednesday, we're going to talk about looking up and what that means and how important looking up is to find your word for 2019, for that word that's going to serve you for the whole year in order to become your best version of yourself. So again, I'm very excited to be sharing this with you, and thank you for joining me, and thank you for taking part in this flip that switch. The reason why I use flip that switch is because when we flip that switch, we're doing an instant turnaround, an instant change that is going to serve you really well. And I hope this helped you, and I'm looking forward to next week. I hope you're tuning in again, and I will be posting this video into our group so that you can rewatch it and really get the full benefit of why I'm doing this, why I'm approaching this health and wellness issue from a complete different angle. And I hope that it's going to help you find your word and why you are finding that word and why that word is going to be purposeful for you. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thanks all for tuning in, and make it happen.